It's 11:45 p.m. Sabi mo sa sarili mo, 5 more minutes na lang, half an hour ago. Nasa kamay mo pa rin yung phone, pero hindi mo na rin sure kung kailan mo siya hinawakan. Swipe, post. Isang video nagiging sunod-sunod, isang post nagiging 10. Tapos biglang, parang nawala na yung sense of time. Ang weird part, hindi mo na nga siya masyadong nag-enjoy. May mga videos na boring, may iba na paulit-ulit, may iba na wala ka namang pake. Pero tuloy ka pa rin. Hindi dahil masaya ka, hindi dahil entertained ka, kundi dahil ang hirap tumigil. Parang mas madali mag-scroll kaysa sa huminto.
Most people would say, wala yan, kulang lang yan sa self-control, or discipline lang yan. Yung iba naman sinasabi, kung gusto mo, kaya mo tumigil. Pero kung behavioral science ang titingnan natin, hindi siya ganun kasimple. Kasi what's happening here is not just a habit, it's a behavioral loop carefully shaped by psychology, neuroscience, and technology. Hindi ka lang basta-basta gumagamit ng social media, you are interacting with a system that studies how your attention works and then designs itself para hawakan yon hanggat kaya niya. Sa gitna nito, may isang natural process sa brain mo na gumagamit ng system na ito. Dopamine. Hindi lang siya happy chemical like gaya ng mga madalas sabihin ng mga tao, mas accurate siguro na sabihin na ito ay isang motivation signal. Parang sinasabi ng brain mo, uy, baka importante to. Check mo ulit. Tingnan mo pa. At sa social media, hindi lang siya ina-activate once, ina-activate siya paulit-ulit, pero hindi predictable. Minsan may nakakatawa, minsan wala. Minsan may message, minsan wala. At doon nagiging powerful siya. Kasi ang brain hindi nahuhook sa sure award. Nahuhook siya sa possible award. This is what behavioral science calls a reinforcement loop. Parang sugal. Hindi mo alam kung anong next na palabas, so tuloy ka lang. Swipe after swipe, scroll after scroll, hanggang sa mawala na yung sense of time mo. Yung intention mo, even yung control mo, and that's where this story begins. Not sa idea na weak ka, kundi sa reality na your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Sa isang environment na designed para hindi ka huminto.
To understand why we can't stop scrolling, we need to talk about dopamine. Pero first, kalimutan muna natin yung common idea na dopamine is equal to pleasure chemical. Kasi ayon sa modern neuroscience, hindi siya ganun kasimple. Researchers like Kent Berridge proposed something important. May dalawang proseso sa reward system ng brain. First is liking, second is wanting. Ang liking, yun yung actual na pleasure. Yung moment na masarap yung chocolate, yung saya pag natatawa ka talaga. Pero ang wanting, mas malakas. Ito yung incentive salience, yung urge, yung craving. Yung parang may humihila sa'yo kahit hindi ka naman fully nag-enjoy.
So when you scroll, hindi palagi liking yung nangyayari. Minsan nga bored ka na, minsan mainisin. Pero yung brain mo, tuloy ang wanting. Parang may internal pull na nagsasabi, scroll ka pa, baka next is mas interesting. At dito pumapasok yung pinaka-important part. Algorithm doesn't need to make you happy. It only needs to keep you searching. This is where behavioral psychology becomes very powerful. In the 1950s, psychologist B.F. Skinner studied how animals learn behavior through rewards. He found something surprising. Kapag predictable ang reward, like every time may treat, nag-i-stop din your behavior after a while. Pero kapag unpredictable, ibig sabihin, minsan may reward, minsan wala, the behavior becomes obsessive. Yung rats sa experiment, they would keep pressing the lever endlessly, even beyond what is rational, dahil hindi nila alam kung kailan darating yung next reward. And that same pattern shows up when you scroll. Your finger keeps going even when your mind is already tired because the next reward might be just one swipe away.
Now, compare that to your feed. Scroll 1, wala. Scroll 2, ad. Scroll 3, boom. May funny video. May shocking post. May something na interesting. And that one hit changes everything. Kasi it reinforces the belief na, okay, worth it palang mag-scroll. So your brain updates the expectation. Baka yung next, mas maganda pa, at dito, nagsisimula yung loop.
This is what some researchers describe as a reinforcement-driven attention loop, where behavior continues not because of satisfaction, but because of anticipation. And inside that loop, you enter what we can describe as ludic loop, a state where your attention becomes rhythmic, automatic, almost trance-like, parang hindi ka fully focused. Pero hindi ka rin fully aware na tumitigil ka na pala sa pag-self-control. Time feels soft, choices feel delayed, and scrolling becomes continuous. One of the biggest examples of this is something we barely even notice. It's called infinite scroll. Interestingly, Even Azar Raskin, the designer credited with creating Infinite Scroll, later expressed regret about it. Why? Because according to him, it removed something important from human behavior. It's called stopping cues. Before smartphones, most forms of media had natural endings. You finish a newspaper page, you reach the end of a magazine article, you finish a chapter in a book. Even televisions had commercial breaks and sign-offs. These endings acted as psychological closure points, which are signals that tell the brain, okay, tapos na, time to stop. Pero sa social media, there is no bottom of the page, no final video, no true endpoint. And when you remove stopping cues, people keep going. Not necessarily because they want to, but because the brain was never given a clear signal to disengage. And this is where behavioral design becomes very intentional. BJ Fogg proposed that behavior happens when motivation, ability, and prompt comes together, and social media optimizes all three. First, motivation. Likes, views, messages, and endless entertainment keep users emotionally rewarded and wanting more. Second is ability. Scrolling is frictionless, no waiting, no effort, just swipe. The easier a behavior becomes, the more automatic it feels. And lastly, which is prompt, notifications, especially the red dot, are designed to instantly grab attention and pull you back in.
Yung red notification badge might seem harmless, pero psychologically, sobrang powerful niya. It acts as what psychologists call an external cue, a trigger that captures attention and creates anticipation. The moment you see it, your brain starts asking questions. Sino nag-message? May nag-like ba? Ano kaya yun? And that anticipation itself activates dopamine pathways, not because the reward is already there, but because your brain expects that there might be a reward. Some researchers describe this as a kind of dopamine tension or anticipation state. You don't open the app because you'll already feel good. You open it because your brain wants to relieve from the uncertainty. The checking behavior becomes less about enjoyment and more about resolving the itch of not knowing.
But maybe the most powerful part of social media design is social validation. Because humans are deeply social creatures, for most of human history, survival depended on belonging to a group. Being accepted by the tribe meant protection, food, and survival, while being rejected could mean isolation or even death. So our brains evolved to constantly monitor social signals such as who accepts us, who ignores us, who values us. Today, those survival instincts are being activated by digital signals, such as likes, comments, views, and even shares. They may seem small, but to the social media brain, they feel meaningful. Every notification becomes a tiny social evaluation, a tiny signal of approval or rejection, and because of that, checking your phone stops becoming just a habit, it starts feeling psychologically urgent, almost necessary.
So when people say, ba't hindi mo na lang ibaba yung phone? The answer is more complicated than it seems, because these platforms are not just apps, they are environments carefully engineered around human attention, human emotion, and human social instincts. And the longer you stay inside the system, the better the system becomes at keeping you there.
So what is all of this actually doing to us? Ano bang kapalit ng endless scrolling? One major effect psychologists call is attentional fragmentation. Our ability to focus deeply gets broken into smaller and smaller pieces. Every switch between apps, messages, and videos forces the brain to constantly reset, which has a real cognitive cost because attention is limited and requires mental energy. Over time, the brain adapts. Instead of strengthening top-down attention, the kind used for intentional focus like reading, studying, it starts relying more on bottom-up attention, which is reactive and easily pulled by notifications, movements, and novelty. And because social media is designed around this reactive system, our minds slowly become more distractible and less comfortable with long, slow focus. This is why deep tasks start feeling harder, reading, studying, and even sitting still without checking your phone. Not because of laziness, but because attention is being trained in a different direction, like a muscle adapting to a new routine. The solution isn't necessarily quitting everything, but adding friction back into behavior, making scrolling slightly harder, using grayscale, avoiding infinite feeds, and setting up specific times to check your phone. These small barriers help shift you from reactive use back to intentional control. At the core, it's not about escaping technology, it's about reclaiming your ability to direct your own attention.
So the scroll isn't a battle of you against a screen, it's a battle of your biology against a supercomputer. Once you understand the wanting versus liking you, the red dots lose their power. You aren't a rat in a cage, you just need to recognize the bars. Next time you feel the itch to scroll, pause. Ask yourself, do I like this or do I just want it? the answer might finally let you put the phone down. That's all for this episode, and I hope to see you on the next one. Thank you!